Big news roundup for you guys today. Kicking it off last night, there was a PTR update. The practice range has been re-enabled, which I really enjoy using now, especially since they tuned how big the bots' hitboxes are. I actually just wish they would enable it while queuing. They already let you go into skirmish while queuing. Going to the practice range or even the arcade would be nice. Put that on the wish list for Papa Jeff. But onto the balance changes, Moira Fade no longer usable while stunned. There was no dev comments about this, just something they tried out, which of course I want to stress, I'm totally fine with them putting wacky stuff on the PTR just to see what we think. I want more of that, not less. So I'm not mad about them attempting this at all, even though we thought it was a little bit of a silly change. Moira's actually pretty strong right now after that recent resource buff. She's even seen some play in the Overwatch League already in day 1 of 222. And even if you do think Moira needs a buff for some reason, it's always better to buff a hero in a skillful way, rather than just making them statistically better or just stronger in a way that takes no skill. Being able to use Moira Fade to dodge abilities actively is like the funnest part of her kit. So taking that out to make it super forgiving wouldn't even be satisfying for Moira players, even if it just simply made her better. So I'm glad they ended up getting rid of it. Next up, Sigma's kinetic grasp cooldown was reduced from 15 seconds to 13. Didn't even realize it was that long, to be honest, but the shield damage conversion also goes up from a third to 0.4. It'll be interesting to see how they tweak Sigma. There's a lot of players on the PTR right now struggling to play him, in my experience, either on my team or on the enemy's team. It's going to be tough to balance him because he is just so hard to play. He doesn't really do tanky things for free. You have to land everything he does like a skill shot, and I still see people not really getting the grip of that, kind of wasting his barrier, tossing it out like it's like a budget Orisa bunker. So I kind of hope they don't over buff him and just let him be an incredibly skillful tank that takes a ton of mastery. Otherwise, it could have some negative effects on the metagame. Now, there was a few bug fixes as well. Fixed the visual bug on Ashe, and this Wrecking Ball bug I encountered a lot, so I think a lot of you ball players probably have, where you get stuck in the slam animation if you land on a slippery surface. Very happy to see that one get fixed, although it was funny getting trapped on rooftops and stuff. Next up, there's been a bit of drama and controversy about the new hero Sigma and his origins and design. So you may have seen floating around that there is some significance behind Sigma showing his feet. This character model is kitted with Talon armor, but his feet are bare. This was explained by the concept artist, Q Fang, by explaining that it was to give the character an asylum look, because in many institutions, patients are not allowed to have shoes because they might cause harm with the laces. But this is the stem of where the criticism comes from. Some people and journalists are criticizing Blizzard of portraying mental illness in a negative light, saying that they're using poor mental health as a shorthand for villainy, saying, quote, traditional madness tropes such as this one can help reinforce stigmas around mental health. Another article goes on to take this one step further. It was worrying as characters with mental health issues have often been treated poorly in media, either used as the butt of a joke or, in Sigma's case, portrayed as villainous. The thing that's bugging me with these type of articles that just keep cropping up about Overwatch is that they seem to not even really understand the content they're trying to critique, because Blizzard isn't using the fact that he went to a mental asylum as a shorthand for villainy. You're doing that. You, journalist man, you're making that connection. Everything about his origin story built him up to be a sympathetic character, and it was heavily implied that he was brainwashed by Talon, which we already know they did for Widowmaker. And listen, I'll be right there with you, saying that mental health is a serious issue that we should focus on. And in fact, it probably shouldn't even be called mental health, it should just be another aspect of health. A lot of our medical institutions are more so sick care than they are health care. Health is a lot of things. So yeah, of course, all that stuff's really important in real life. In the video game, though, it's important to note that he was experimenting with black holes, which gave him superpowers, but also lost some of his soul. In no way is this demeaning mental health. If anything, it's drawing attention to it. We're not supposed to feel good about Sigma being exploited by Talon and being on the bad side. We're supposed to feel sympathy for him, which makes him a much easier character to play. Not in gameplay terms, of course. He's difficult to play, but he isn't just a mad scientist. If you do no research into what they were creating for him at all, then you'd get that impression, but if you actually appreciate the complete arc they've created for the character, it's much more nuanced than that. So yeah, I don't get this at all, guys. I'm sure some of you probably agree with this position, but I just don't think it's accurate at all to say that this is somehow enforcing stigmas about mental health. Unfortunately, being sick mentally is a tragic thing, and it's brave of Blizzard to even attempt to incorporate some of this harsh reality into their storytelling. I want a lot more of this. Maybe there's some amongst us that only want the pretty sparkly, happy, joyous world, but it's hard to actually take that seriously because it's not a reflection of reality. I'd like Overwatch to be more like this, not My Little Pony. Okay, I watched the Care Bears growing up. It was adorable, but I think we can handle a little bit of nuance here. That's all I have to say on that. And last bit of news at the end here, some quick stuff from the Overwatch League. The League MVP voting has begun, which there seems to be a fan voting section of it, which is live now. To vote for this, you can do so during the broadcast. On the Twitch page, on desktop or mobile, there's a button you can press, which opens up a window for you to be able to vote. And also with that was supposed to come the Overwatch League picks. It's supposed to start up yesterday, but it didn't work for anybody. But when this is up and running, you will be able to sync your account if you haven't already in order to farm up Overwatch League tokens. You should be doing that anyway if you watch the league at all, but also before the matches, there will be a prompt to be able to pick the winners of games, but also other questions that they ask. And if you select the correct response, you'll be able to earn a small amount of Overwatch League tokens by completing challenges, and each challenge is worth 25 tokens. All of this is explained in further detail underneath the video player on the Overwatch League Twitch page. But that's going to be it for today's news roundup. If you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to leave it a like. It really does help us out. Let us know that you're enjoying the content, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and be sure to hit the bell icon so that you get notified when our videos go live. Link to the description is our Twitter, where we tweet out news, updates, and dank memes. That's been it for me. I've been FREEDO for your Overwatch. See you guys next time.